gentlemen, turn your speakers up. It's time for the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. A podcast discussing all things AEW and WWE. Oh, yeah! Let's meet the hosts. First, a man hailing from the Hub City in Indiana. He goes by @TooSweetKyle on Twitter. The host, Kyle Gagliardi. And your co-host, hailing from the Valley of Lake Tahoe. He goes by @JimTuck89 on Twitter. Jim Tucker. And last but not least, hailing from the cornfield somewhere in Indiana, the full-time part-timer, Ian Garavaglia. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram @PodOnTheMark.
What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I am your host, Mr. OTM, Kyle Gagliardi. And as always, I am joined by my good friend, Jim Tucker, or as I like to call him, Tookie!
Ooh, what's going on, Kyle? It's me. It's you in your fresh Royal Rumble hat. It is not Ian today. It is the OTM glue guy, Aaron Orosz. Long-time guest, long tenure. He's went on a little bit of a hiatus, but Aaron is back and excited to introduce him to the StreamYard contingent. It is a much different dynamic with the three of us talking to comment sections and things like that. Aaron, what's going on, brother?
You know, rocking and rolling. Some say an upgrade from Ian. That's just a rumor going around on Twitter. It might be trending. It might be. I don't know.
Some are saying that. I didn't say
I'm just
that.
Kidding.
Some are saying that.
Some
people have said that.
Ian couldn't do the Jordan flu game, so
No.
But yeah, I'm here, fresh off the Rumble, ready to go.
Live, right?
I did watch live. I did.
It's
a Rumble.
So this is gonna be. It is the Rumble. I mean, even the casuals got to come out and check out the Royal Rumble. It's an exciting time. And as the chat has already said and Tuck alluded to, I am back from Indianapolis. And to everybody that took the time out to check out the OTM vlog that we did with the Wrestling Junkies, I greatly appreciate you. It is a fantastic watch, about 20 minutes. You really get to see what it's like to attend a big PLE with the boys here at the OTM crew. It's unfortunate that Tucky was not there, but we did have a solid replacement, and Aaron is very familiar with this man. Brett Haskell sat next to me at the Royal Rumble, and actually, Aaron, we also got to see your brother, who was in the section behind us. There was a lot going on in Indianapolis this weekend.
Yeah, I texted him to see if he had seen you yet over there, but yeah, Brett, Ryback's #1 fan, Brett Haskell. It's crazy. He was hoping he'd come out at 30 in the Rumble, but he didn't. So
yeah, I think we're all thankful that Ryback didn't show up. But I am thankful that we got a very active chat tonight, Tuck. Let's look at all these comments that are
popping large.
Hot sauce, Tabasco sauce, Uzi sauce. Bill Moss has entered the chat. Robbie Collins said, "Love me some wrestling. The vlog was great. You guys look like you had a blast." That we did, and that's why Ian's not here. He's got the flu, and he also has mono. So that's not good.
Is that Montevideo?
We out here, the Great Brown Hopes in the chat from the Main Event Wrestling Network. Love to see it. Shut up and sit down from Tim Vicious. Robbie said, Ian looks a little different this week. Hello to Aaron. Robbie's saying hello to our special guest. The Great Brown Hope said, that is a sick-ass hat, K-Gags. Yeah, it was. So here's the situation, boys. I think you probably saw the Royal Rumble vlog. The merch store was not great. Tuck, you've been to plenty of big PLE weekends. It was a big line, not a lot to offer. We tried on Friday. We tried on Saturday. We were just not going to wait in that line. So I got there on Sunday, and I was like, you know what? I'll get an Indianapolis 316 shirt, and I'll get this hat. But Tuck, it was really disappointing. And I know you didn't really miss out on much not being there.
Oh, these WWE, the big PLEs, the Rumbles, the SummerSlams, the Manias, it is becoming a Disney level itinerary for the weekend to get in, get out, and execute. There is no fast pass for the WWE Superstore,
No.
and so you got to get in, or you go to the store when SmackDown's happening on that Friday. That's kind of a dead zone, but the business is quite hot.
Yes, it is, and. Like Ray Brown Hope said, if y'all haven't watched the OTM vlog from the Rumble, y'all slacking on purpose. It's on our channels. And don't forget to hit subscribe, Tuck, because while we were in Indy, it finally happened this past Friday. We have reached 400 subscribers, Tuck. Show off what we're giving away later today.
Yeah, we got a signed Rey Mysterio figure to send to someone in the continental United States. Excited for it. And sad to see one of my own collection, but I did it to myself. I have two, so it'll be fun.
It will be fine. So stay tuned to the very end of the pod to see if you are the winner. And if you are someone that doesn't live in the U.S., I'm going to make them pick somebody in the U.S. to give it away to. How does that sound?
And I will say when we get to 500, we got a Kurt Angle figure on the way. So. Maybe I just hunt deals every 100 and see if we can come up with something.
And we got Ian's 24-hour stream if we hit 600.
Yeah.
We got a lot. And speaking of Ian, look at that. He said, hi, hello, full-time, part-timer checking in for a second before I go to bed. He's sick. What are you going to do, huh? But, hey, that's why we called in the OTM glue guy. Dirk Vogus is in the house. He said he watched it a little bit ago. It was really good, especially since he was in it. Yeah, well, I did get to see Dirk.
You know how to get views, Kyle. You're not an amateur. Dirk is good for the numbers. He needs his own needle mover shirt. He is for the brand, and we love to see him week in and week out.
Yeah, for sure. And the comments section is just going off right now. Guys, we got to get to some Royal Rumble talk. But before we do, Tucky, don't forget, we have a lot of great merch available at the OnTheMarkWrestlingPodcast.com. You see this hoodie I'm wearing right here? It's very comfy. You can get yours at the website. That tapestry behind me. What else, Tuck, can they get on our website?
Shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, tapestries, crop tops. I always know that this question's coming, and I'm always unprepared for it, and so I shoot off like a student ill-prepared for a test. But so many different things. I think if you go to OnTheMarkWrestlingPodcast.com, you can see a number of things I didn't mention as well, and you are supporting the podcast and the channel, so we appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely. And Kine said if he wins, he will give it to Ian. By the way, Kine,
absolutely fucking not.
By the way, Kine, my condolences to you and your family after I saw that news that you had posted, unfortunately, on social media. But Tim says, Tuck the Fig Man. Yeah, that's pretty much what he is. But Ryan Vogus has a question for Aaron. Have you flexed on camera yet?
No.
He has not.
I had to put blue light glasses on. I can't stare at a screen too long.
We're getting old, boys.
And look at that. Hot Sauce Bill Moss is wearing his OTM hoodie while listening to OTM. Great guy. He's just a fantastic guy. Also, show some love to the Main Event Wrestling Network. We got a bunch of great content creators. Some of them are in the chat right now. At mainevent_net is where you're going to check out all that great content. If you don't know about the Main Event, then you don't know about OTM, because we are in the Main Event Network. All right, guys. Enough chit-chat. Let's get to the juiciness of it all that happened this weekend in Indy. Starting off with the Women's Royal Rumble, which, of course, got the internet up in arms because my GOAT, Charlotte Flair, won her second Royal Rumble, the first woman to win 2 Royal Rumbles. Overall, though, Tucky, there was a lot that's happening in all Royal Rumbles, so it's kind of hard for me to just ask you, how was the Royal Rumble? Because they had a lot of moments, but what are some of the things that really stood out to you in this women's match?
Well, I like when you look at both the Rumbles, like what you just said, I think it might be better to round table some of the hot button topics, starting with Charlotte winning. It is the right move. She's had enough time off to argue that she's prepared for that. She's arguably the freshest wrestler on the roster, right? She doesn't have some of that ring rust, and she is the greatest of all time. And so where they put her made sense. I think there was a number of stories as well. So like the winner won, right? Charlotte makes sense. It gives you the Charlotte Tiffany program. I also like that she didn't come out straight away on Monday, pick Tiffany. They are getting the juice
Even
from the
tease
fruit.
Julia.
Exactly. And not uncommon because she went down there to get Rhea.
Yep.
And so the intrigue in the business is high, and I'm excited Charlotte belongs there because if you're upset about Charlotte winning, you have to be really upset that Cena didn't win. And I don't know that everyone is, but that men's Royal Rumble, Jordan Grace, outstanding. Alexa Bliss, pop of the night. I don't know.
Oh, by far. I
Crazy,
think I even
right?
texted Aaron on the side. I've been to plenty of WWE events, top 3 pop I've ever experienced in person. Like the roof came off the place. And when they announced 70,000, that was a legit 70K. Like usually on those stadium shows, like in Cleveland, they'll block off a couple sections. There was no sections blocked off in Lucas Oil Stadium. More people were there to see the Royal Rumble than they were to see Taylor Swift in Indy, which just speaks volumes. But going back to this Women's Rumble, Aaron, I know where you stand with Charlotte Flair. Do you believe that this was the correct decision, even though there is some backlash coming from it?
Well, I knew it was going to be. I think I told you this prior to the Rumble that if she's in it, she's winning. I mean, it just doesn't make sense for her not to. I mean, she's getting you can arguably call her the Cena of the women's version.
It's greatness hate.
Oh, it is. And to be fair, I can understand the hate where, she already has 14 championships, I believe, which, that's a lot for, I don't know how long she's been
that
around.
Count is like that count is like the Yankees 27 rings, though.
Yeah.
She stacked titles when the women's division was not like it is now.
Right. Yeah, no, and I won't question you there. She's the GOAT. She's the best. She's healthy. She's coming back after her ACL tear. Putting her in the main event makes all the sense in the world. She's the greatest women's performer in the world. You're not going to not have her, be in a title match at WrestleMania. So, no, yeah, it made all the sense in the world. I know a lot of people were giving the hate for Nikki Bella coming in at 30. But you got to think of it this way, and I don't know if Becky's coming back. I don't know when she's coming back. But let's say she did come out at 30, what, you're going to have her lose if you had Charlotte, win? What's the point of that? You were only getting one of the two, and whoever came back was winning. So, so then in that case at 30, it's not a big deal. Charlotte winning makes all the sense in the world. Sounds like she's going to go against Tiffany Stratton, which makes all the sense in the world as well. Even if they did Rhea Ripley for the third time, that women's match at WrestleMania 2 years ago was one of the best matches I've ever seen. So
incredible. And that third match that can happen in 5 years and still be a banger too.
Oh, yeah. It's going to happen. They got to have the tiebreaker. They've each beaten each other. But yeah, Charlotte made all the sense in the world. She's going to main event. She's going to be great. It does. Yeah, it makes all sense.
I don't need to reiterate the points that you guys are making because I 100% agree with you guys. The narrative of it's always shoving Charlotte down our throats. Why don't we give that backlash to Becky Lynch? Let's go back, Tuck. You were there. SummerSlam. She returned, beat Bianca Belair in 24 seconds, and nobody bitched whatsoever about that. But if Charlotte did that... Well,
I fucking did.
You did on the podcast, yes. But you hear what I'm saying, though, right? If Charlotte does that, it's World War III.
Well, again, Charlotte is the Yankees. It is what it is. And I will never acknowledge the Yankees as any sort of great semblance of a
Red Sox
team. But you just got, again, Charlotte is not the GOAT with terrible wrestling. You know what I mean? She's got a scroll of incredible matches too. So I'm excited for it. Does Charlotte win? It's fun to think about. Who, other than Charlotte, who should have won?
Well, who was in there with her at the end? I think that tells you a lot too. How much there? I think Roxanne's about to take off here pretty soon. I don't think that was just happenstance that she was left in there with Charlotte at the end there.
That means a lot.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, that's a big thing to just be the Iron Woman, which we were definitely going to touch on. I do want to pull up some of the comments, though, because we have a lot from the chat. Bill said Women's Rumble was great from beginning to end. Heavy NXT representation in this match. He's absolutely right. Charlotte winning made sense, but not what I would have picked. Fair enough. Great Brown Hope said she should play the slow game, wait till after the chamber to pick someone, keep them all guessing. Guys, I don't hate that idea instead of just immediately going to Tiffany.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm more curious to see, like Tuck kind of alluded to it. We're all guessing she's going to pick Tiffany Stratton. What happens in that? Because I know WWE, and we'll get to it later about making stars and why Jey Uso that decision.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have Tiffany Stratton lose if you're trying to make more stars in that division? If she wins, I feel like that kind of propels her. That could, you know what I mean? So, we'll see. I mean, she was easily the right choice in my opinion. I mean,
yeah, and this is a fair comment from Kine. Like, it was predictable. She is gonna have a good match, and he doesn't like it, and that's okay. Nobody's saying you have to like it or you don't like it, but I feel like it just has to make sense to the majority of wrestling fans. Agree with Bill Moss. He said, "Boo, Nikki Bella." My look on my face when number 30 hit, me and Brett were hoping it was Becky or AJ Lee, and then I hear, "You can look, but you can't touch," and I just looked at him. I'm like,
yeah, the air out of a balloon kind of thing.
She got a pop.
No, yeah, but like as a match watcher and the intrigue and the entries and things like that, it was certainly a like, oh. Well, and I called it on the podcast. She's in the Traders Peacock. There are things. It does make sense, but we're not talking about 7 other random legends that will no longer have a program. Trish
was great.
Yeah, and she still is great. And again, I don't necessarily buy it, but hey, Trish can still go. You know that, and you have 30 spots. So this is not the Rumbles of years past where we're complaining about too much comedy, not enough this. There's a number of angles that are going to come out of this too. Jordan Grace is likely going to start at NXT from what I'm reading. So the Stephanie Vaquer, Julia, Roxanne, Cora of it all. What a division. Jada Parker, Lash Legend. So much good down there as well. And Jordan Grace. Did not get as much Bianca Naomi movement than as what I expected. Good in the ring. They're good at Royal Rumbles, but I thought there was going to be more progression, similar to the way some stories are on their way with the men's match, men's match.
Is it fair to say that I'm kind of concerned for Bianca Belair?
Dude, I was thinking about it when I was driving my truck to Reno the other day. I am nervous that she is a mid-carder.
Yeah. That's where she's. I mean, she's being positioned. Aaron, I see you kind of shaking.
Well, I feel like we see this within the business for forever. It's just, you have Rhea Ripley, who's absolutely on fire. You have Charlotte, who's the greatest ever.
And to your point, Rhea had to wait her time while Bianca was white hot. So that is a very good point.
It just ebbs and flows. She might go on one of those things where, she's not in that main event title picture for a couple of years and and comes back. There's just so much talent throughout the men's and women's side where it's kind of hard to be in that top spot all the time.
100%. No, that's a good point. And like Brett said, aside from the Bella disappointment, we didn't get the return of Jade Cargill either, which I would say a fair amount of people expected. And he agrees with us. Bianca not standing out in the Rumble was concerning. But Aaron, I do see where you're coming from. I do like what Ian's saying as well. He goes, I almost feel like the number 30 spot should be reserved for the heels. Usually never going to get a good reception. But then again, I still think she got a pretty solid reception. But let's talk about those surprises specifically. Obviously, there was NXT as well with Roxanne Perez and Stephanie Vaquer, Julia. But the big one being Alexa Bliss, Aaron. This is someone we haven't seen, I believe, in 2 years on WWE television. My concern, and I don't know if you feel the same way, granted, you don't watch as much as I do, but you still keep up with things, is that she might get lost in the shuffle.
I totally agree.
But at the same time, that reaction might tell you otherwise.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And it's not to say that she's not talented. I'm not saying that at all. But even in that 2 year span that she's been gone, the way it's kind of the women's division is kind of even elevated to the point where I agree with you. I guess they made it work with Liv and Rhea kind of doing that sort of thing where, I'm not dissing Liv Morgan at all, but she's not at the level of a Charlotte or a Rhea or a Bianca, but they made it work and she was a champion. So there's always creative ways that they can work it in, but I honestly have no idea what she's going to do. I don't know where they're going to insert her, but I do agree with you.
With the Wyatt Six?
No.
I don't think you go to revisionist history there. Yeah, she came back to her old
She paid
theme.
homage with the Fiend.
But that could have just been an homage to Bray Wyatt.
Has she been able to since he's passed?
No, you're right. She
and so you get that spot in. But a takeaway that I had looking at her in space in that ring with some of those women that have popped up in the last 2 years, and that's not even considering what's her name on NXT, Zarya,
yeah.
Zarya, Jordan Grace, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Rhea Ripley, Raquel Rodriguez, Charlotte Flair, some absolute demons, dude. And so if you go the Liv Morgan route, how does she win matches? And I think she's a great candidate to elevate a mid-card title, Intercontinental, get her going in that direction because she hasn't had that opportunity. But I'm not concerned, but I am intrigued because she was well received.
Sure.
And I trust creative. I think when they've stamped people, they've done a good job, I think.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've seen online is, and obviously these are all rumors, was kind of your route, Kyle, where people think she might tag team with Nikki Cross and go that route and take the tag team titles at WrestleMania.
Kind of a layup.
Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, she fits right in with that. But I don't know.
I was going to say we haven't seen the Wyatt Six in months, it seems like, but apparently somebody's out with an injury. Tuck, I don't know if you can confirm
they're
that.
all out because one is out. I can look and I don't think it matters. Somebody's injured.
No, I'll tell you, it's not
out.
Dexter Lumis because I saw Dexter Lumis working out with Indy. So they reunited in Indy. Kind of ironic. They reunited.
I watched Indy's Royal Rumble vlog. It was fine.
It was okay. Yeah, I like Indy, and apparently she's getting a lot of people to purchase her merch. So good for her. Hopefully everything goes well with her return to the ring. Kind says, I think Solo Alexa does better. She just doesn't need that stale faction. I think that's a fair take. Bill's question: are we getting Fiend or Goddess Bliss? Maybe a mixture of both, like the Great Brown Hope is saying, and she just goes to that place before she wins a match. I think that makes a lot of sense. But Nikki Bella, I don't know if this means it's a full-time run. Tuck, have you seen anything about her contract status? No, yeah. We obviously don't need it, but Aaron, do you think there's value in bringing Nikki Bella back to this day and age?
I think she has a lot of outside of wrestling popularity, like a lot of people that watch, like Tuck alluded to, like reality television and stuff. And so that's why I feel like she kind of got the reaction that she did. But where do you insert her for this? A singles
card?
Maybe.
To elevate?
Does she really elevate? Like
Bill's saying, keep that diva away. I know it sounds like we're bashing Nikki. I just wasn't a fan of her. I don't have anything against her, but I just don't think she's needed. And I think Tuck would probably agree with that as well, just how deep. Because look at this other name here, Jordan Grace. Tuck brought it up a little bit earlier. It looks like she's going to be headed to NXT, which is kind of concerning to me too. And granted, Jordan Grace is a big enough star where I think she'll shine in NXT regardless, but there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen right now in NXT. There's a lot of women at the top of that card. You mentioned Zarya, you got Cora Jade, you got Sol Ruka, you got Stephanie Valkyr. Roxanne's probably headed to the main roster, so I can't count her, but Jordan Grace had a really good showing here in this Women's Royal Rumble, and I also thought the spot where they teased like the NXT women versus the main roster women, that was a cool moment. But overall, Tuck, give me a letter grade for the Women's Royal Rumble specifically.
A, 92. Just a pretty good A. I was entertained. I thought there. I didn't, for a Royal Rumbles can be clunky. I felt I liked how they stacked like the first 11 in there, and let it build into something. And so I was impressed with it. I thought I thought Flair should have won. And I can't believe we're only 23 days from Elimination Chamber already, dude. 2 weeks from 3 weeks from Saturday. But the Women's Royal Rumble, I give it a 92 out of 100. And I can't really tell you why I'm taking away the 8.
That's fair. I mean, I just thought, like you said, it was the perfect mix of, NXT talent, a couple surprises, and then the big hitters. Aaron, how'd you feel as a whole?
I agree with Tuck 100%. I think, there were a lot of women in there I didn't know, and that's probably from the NXT. I'm like, who are these people? But no, I think they executed exactly what they wanted. The right person won. You had plenty of, good action going on in there. So, I think booking wise, the way they executed it, I mean, it's about as good as you're going to get. I mean, like I said,
that final 2 was smart.
Yeah, it was smart. And I think, the same reason with Becky, I think part of the reason that's why Jade Cargill wasn't in it either, because you don't want to lose the momentum. Her in a Charlotte feud is lurking. I'm stealing that from Mark Henry because he said it on Busted Open. That he said in 2025 the biggest women feud is going to be Charlotte and Jade Cargill. She's lurking, and she's lurking. It's just a matter of time. But I like I said, I just think Charlotte winning made all the sense in the world. They didn't want to make any of their top hitters look weak, so I'm good. Yeah. I'm good with 92 as well.
Yeah, it's an A for me, dog. And like Ian said, I tweeted this out as well. He goes, I think it was the best women's Rumble so far. I definitely think that it could be in the conversation for sure. There's only been, I believe, 7 or 8 of them, and it looks like the chat's agreeing. Everybody's given the Women's Royal Rumble an A. Great Brown Hope said NXT Women's Division is still what will make NXT the third brand at this point, and that's not counting the women who are currently training and doing dark shows too. And there's also women down there in men's talent that are doing that reality show, I think with Bully Ray, Undertaker, Mickey James, called LFG. So there's still even more talent coming up through that program. They got a lot going on there. And Aaron, while we got you here, I really haven't publicly asked you, I don't know how familiar you are with it, but the WWE ID program where they are, bringing in these independent wrestlers. That's another way that the WWE just keeps evolving. And it seems like this is just going to be the trajectory of the WWE.
Yeah, they're going to have a Rolodex of talent. And originally, or I guess previously with Vince McMahon at the helm, you'd be kind of worried about those men and women kind of getting lost in the shuffle. But I think Triple H has a clear plan. He's going to have his pick of the litter when it comes to talent, putting people in the right spot. I mean, I think they're in a great spot overall. They're ready. They'll be good.
No doubt. And for confirmation, Great Brown Hope said LFG is the next NXT level up. The current NXT ain't developmental anymore. And that's fair. Tim asked, anyone else hear money being printed when Julia had a stare down with Io? Yeah, I think you could sign everybody up for that match. And Brett, who had just recently got back into wrestling, he said the crowd being involved in a women's rumble was awesome. Shows how far that division has come. And Brett is 100% right. But Tuck, what do you think next year's Women's Royal Rumble reaction is going to be in Saudi Arabia? Oh, I can't believe that's happening.
Dude, it feels weird to me that this is the most successful, eye-catching, most watched Royal Rumble, hyped up, building packed. No, there has not been a bigger Royal Rumble in history. And next year we're watching it at 10 a.m. Well, noon for you, I guess.
It still lasts. It doesn't matter what time it starts.
I love a good brunch tailgate PLE, but when it's Crown Jewel.
Not for the Saudis.
Because you got to lock in for the Rumble, dude.
You do. It's a big deal.
It's fun, especially me with doing the chart with the lottery, trying to track the picks and stuff.
By the way, it was not rigged, but 2/3 of OTM did walk away with Rumble money.
There we go. So
congrats. And we both, me and you, Tuck, we're 2/3 of the OTM Trios champions.
OTM, we had a good week on the boards. Defended, earned our titles back from the strong contingent of followers that we have. The vlog went well. I think
need more.
SummerSlam. I've got ideas. I've got things, and you and I can hold it down. Perhaps more engaging content.
Yeah.
Maybe baseball. The baseball team needs a new camera, and so we will look at things. But
we will.
Yeah.
Great Brown Hoops said
Saudi
the fans
Arabia.
in Saudi Arabia are wrestling fans just like us. Yeah, that hate women. Oh, did I say that on a podcast? Oh, let's move on. Bill Moss said, let's treat it like a
Next year, the Women's Royal Rumble will be 6 competitors.
There you go. We got 2 matches to talk about before we get into the Men's Royal Rumble. This one, man, now listen. Everybody knows how much I like DIY. And these 2 tag teams are fantastic. But the people watching at home have to understand. After a long-ass Women's Rumble, and you look up and down the card, you have to pick your spots. And you have to decide, when's the bathroom break? When am I going to go get food? When am I going to refresh? And unfortunately, this match was the beneficiary of that. Everybody left their seats. They weren't engaged in this one whatsoever. And I don't think that's indicative of the talent in the ring. It just was the positioning on the card. And some match had to happen. So guys, I did rewatch this. I thought it was a solid match. It didn't really run that long in my opinion for being 2 out of 3 falls, but Tuck, you probably got a better idea or analysis on this tag match because I actually was taking a piss during this match and I love DIY.
You know, I thought it was fun. It was I thought it came after a really good Royal Rumble, so the engagement for me on my end was also a little tampered. But a strong match on a strong Rumble card that was not flooded down with unnecessary. The wrestling in the match was a good change of pace compared to the chaotic style of the Royal Rumble. And it was still enough to wet the whistle. I enjoyed the tag match and loved the Cody match. So what a show.
Yeah, it was good from top to bottom. And Bill said, I don't give a fuck what people think. This match was great. Crowd was ass. Should have opened first. Man, now, Bill, I disagree. You got to book in the Royal Rumble matches. Those are too long. And
I do think if that match started the Rumble, it would have been received better. And I also think the Women's Rumble could have had the same response if it was the exact same Rumble, just second.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't regret that they made the move, though, if that makes sense.
No, I agree.
I think Bill has a good point. But yeah, the crowd was kind of cheeks.
Aaron, I know you haven't been as dialed in as the rest of us, but do you have any thoughts on this tag team match?
I I enjoyed it. I mean, I watched it. I obviously know who DIY are.
There you go.
But again, it's like going out number 2 at WrestleMania. It's just like you have the crowd. The crowd's in it. It's a tough spot. It's at least nice that they put good wrestling in there. The real fans obviously appreciate it. But when you're at a pay-per-view where the highlight is the Royal Rumble matches, it's kind of hard, and that's part of the reason why I was so impressed, and we'll get to it next, the Cody and Kevin Owens match, because I thought that was phenomenal.
That's on my match of the year list already.
Oh, it was great, but no, I mean, I didn't know the Street Profits heel. Was that expected? Unexpected?
Unexpected, yeah. Okay. I didn't expect that coming, and that is a confirmed heel turn. Tuck, okay. I don't know if you saw that writing on the wall there, because that surprised me.
I'm here for it.
I know you are. You're a Profits guy through and through, aren't you?
I would say day 1 Street Profits, day 1 Bianca. You know, this modern era, there's some of my favorites. My sister-in-law's new boyfriend is a wrestling fan, and did not like that I put Seth Rollins on my modern current Mount Rushmore. He thought Seth Rollins was overrated, so we haven't spoke.
Aaron, I know you're a big Seth Rollins mark. You would put him on the modern Mount Rushmore.
Right now, yeah. If it wasn't for Roman, he'd be the guy, in my opinion. I mean, he's reinvented himself. He's everywhere he puts himself into. Now, granted, am I kind of tired of this gimmick that he's had going on? But I do kind of like the heelish antics that he's got going on. I think with that, with his feud with Punk and now with Roman, I like where they're going. I hopefully they do turn him heel, but But yeah, Rollins phenomenal.
Kind says, put the belt on Pretty Deadly. They deserve a real chance. Been treated like jobbers since coming to the main roster despite being one of the best tag teams. Yes, boy. Great Brown Hope reiterating my prediction from last week. He's in agreement. I don't even think he knew I had this take last week, but I'll repeat it. SmackDown Tag Team Elimination Chamber, DIY, Motor City Machine Gun, Street Profits, Pretty Deadly, Los Garza, and Fatu and Tonga. I think that would be money. But any other thoughts, guys, from this tag match? You guys ready to move on?
Moving on.
Let's move on to that ladder match that we alluded to a little bit ago, which, like I said, is an early match of the year candidate for me because, Aaron, when we see ladder matches, it really is centered around just climbing the ladder most of the time. But this match felt different. The physicality was there. And, I mean, just tell me how you felt about it because I almost was at a loss for words while watching it live, like in shock.
Yeah, and you could kind of say that this was kind of a tough spot for both of them because this is Kevin Owens' 5th title match at a Rumble, and he's never won. And I think a lot of people were guessing he wasn't going to win. So when you have that going into a match, and then you have a ladder match, it's kind of like, okay, how do we step this up? And Kevin Owens, probably one of the most underrated wrestlers in the world. Just how, and I feel like the animosity between the two coming into it definitely added into it. You're starting to see Cody kind of get a little out of his shell, get a little heelish antics where he starts to lose it. But
how about that ending shot?
Yeah.
He came back to shove it in the face of Sammy and KO like, hey,
it's lurking. We know what's lurking. Yep. We know what's lurking. But yeah, I mean, you kind of had to put a pin in this because obviously Cody's going on to do different things. And so what do? You have one of the craziest spots ever. He takes an Alabama slam into a ladder where you legitimately thought he broke his neck. I mean, I thought he was dead. And I mean, I feel like that just put the cherry on top of a match that delivered. You saw the animosity. You saw two people that despise each other. It just delivered in every which way you could have imagined. Over the top, honestly, it exceeded expectations in my mind. Yeah. But yeah, again, just another very well-booked match that delivered, putting end to a little bit of a feud because obviously we saw on Raw where that's going. No, it was awesome. Just an awesome match.
Definitely one of my favorite ladder matches. Tim asked, did anyone notice Cody seemed to pause a little before taking the belts down? Yes, I did notice this. But Tuck, this is a point that I wanted to bring up. And me and Brett actually were talking about this after the match. It is a little interesting that Sammy was involved in this match, but he didn't actually do anything to affect the result. So what was the real purpose in your mind, Tuck, of why Sammy was even there?
Well, I think Sammy was there to give a clear direction for KO. When his lack of help, his torn emotion, again, I think you're playing with a torn man, and I think Sami Zayn plays that foil character perfectly. And the match, I think, exceeded my expectations.
It's all booking. That's why Sami Zayn's out there, doesn't do anything. I think you're going to find out when they start getting into the promos between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens I think that was all planned, that he didn't step in, and I think that's what Kevin Owens is going to really lean into when they start this feud at WrestleMania.
That's a good point. And like they are putting like just so many seeds everywhere. And that's why things are so unpredictable. And I even saw a rumor that Triple H is intentionally telling false rumors so the internet creates a false buzz. So we don't know where things are going. And Aaron and I have talked about this. Tuck, we've talked about it. That's when wrestling's at its best, right?
Well, they're playing the game right now. They are playing the game from all aspects. This is a global brand, a global business. They have a data department responsible for key decisions. The partnership with UFC not only was smart from a dollars and cents standpoint, but their ability to access more information and business savvy. And it's incredible dude. And you think about the game that they're playing, it's not just trying to book good stories for a TV show each week. It is targeted, it's direct, it's fun. They have far more firepower than AEW does at this point. But one final thing about that match, the match ended because KO was Alabama slammed through a ladder. And on Twitter, I saw a tweet that in AEW that's not even the last spot. That's in the middle of the match. And so it shows the different style of offense that both companies run. You know, it's not necessarily a negative mark at AEW, but there's many different offenses you can run in basketball and football. These two things are not the same.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. And Kind says Cena could be the guy to push Cody over the edge. He returns, loses the Rumble, gets a free spot to the Chamber, makes Cody mad as he had to win 2 Rumbles to overcome it all. And Ian likes that as well. Kind's also saying that Orton could push him over the edge as well, since he could return and say, this isn't you, you're not a bad guy. And I also think that is maybe a direction they can go. But Aaron, I think you're pretty dead set on Cena and Cody happening at Mania, aren't you? Oh, you're not.
No, I've changed my tone on that.
So where are you at with the Cody thing?
Oh, it's so. I mean, I guess since I won't be talking about Elimination Chamber on here, I might as well just say my thought. I don't think he's winning. I don't think Cena's winning the Eliminate. I think this thing is going to get slow built to SummerSlam, where he wins number 17. Now, then you ask, well, what does John Cena do at WrestleMania? I don't know, and they got plenty of time to figure it out. That's a rumor I've heard, which is in like, oh, his last match at WrestleMania is with Logan. Yeah, I don't know, but no, I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. I just don't. I think they're going to slow burn this thing to where he gets pinned. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know. I don't think he's winning the Chamber. I think he gets pinned at the end by CM Punk, and I think they go CM Punk and Cody.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why we have Aaron Orosz, the OTM glue guy. You know, a perspective. You know, the different angles.
I think they're slow playing it. I think everybody's going to think going into that Chamber that he's going to win, just like a lot of people thought going into the Rumble that he was going to win. And I will talk. I'm sure we'll talk about it. But his post press conference was what I needed to hear, because Kyle knows this. I have had a gripe with how Cena's been booked. I've had a gripe with how he's been like
crazy to say, knowing how he was.
Well,
booked.
Right, but I mean, but he even had said it. He hasn't made a better WrestleMania since 2013. That's 12 years ago for John Cena.
We were a freshman in college,
right? And obviously, people have taken the mantle, but I've hated his goofy, gimmicky attitude in the ring, and he alluded to that in his post press conference. I've been waiting for the guy to show up that I'm Super Cena that just doesn't lose, and he kind of hinted at that. But yeah, I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. I have this gut feeling that they're slow playing this thing.
No, you probably are right, and you're kind of convinced me there. But we'll talk about that in a couple weeks. Running through the comments real quick. Bill, I don't know if I would go another year with Cody, just because I think eventually the fans are going to start to turn on him, but maybe that's what they want. Maybe they are planting these heelish tendencies to slow turn Cody Rhodes. Who knows?
The biggest question in wrestling right now, in my opinion, is what does that favor for Paul Heyman and CM Punk? I think that will dictate where everything else is going to go. I don't know what it is.
Isn't that fun?
It's great.
A favor. Like this guy owes you a favor. We've given a shit about a bracelet, a favor, a thing, and it's not. And again, they're telling stories. You know what I mean? They're following plots now. It's not just you guys don't like each other. Fight.
Yeah,
that's AEW.
We've all talked about this before off the podcast. That's what really drives us is storytelling in professional wrestling. That's why there is alternatives in this industry. So if you are looking for those 5-star matches or 4-star matches, whatever you want to call them, go watch AEW. Go to your local indie. You're going to see great wrestling matches. But if you want cinema, as the kids would say, you watch the WWE. And a lot of comments, guys, that I'm trying to catch up to. Bill's saying Sammy.
Shout
and
out to the
KO.
comment section.
Yeah.
It's been electric. It's been electric.
It has been. They're saying maybe a loser leaves the company and then Sammy goes to TNA. That could be something. Great Brown Hope said John Cena versus Kofi Kingston. If there isn't anything for John, and that actually makes sense. Like there's history there with Kofi and John, and now
John
Kofi's
and Randy.
a dick.
John and Randy at WrestleMania. I mean, why haven't we thought of that one? His biggest rival, arguably ever.
Well, and that gives us the best of both worlds. You get a compelling Orton Cena feud, and you don't need the title, and then Cena can get the title.
Yeah, for sure. And then Kine said Logan Paul wins a chamber. Fans riot. I hate it, but I also love it. I can picture it. I wouldn't doubt it. But he said Roman, Punk, Seth as a match. Cena versus Braun. Oh my goodness. Yeah, those would be some good ones. Plot twist. Cena becomes Homelander. Bill said, yeah. In his last year, I'd be very, very surprised. Kine said no favor left. Punk eliminated Roman. They fought. Punk even looked mad at Paul. I could see a little plot twist, or even Roman refuses the favor, leading to Punk versus Roman, and Heyman picks a side. They got to do the favor. You don't make up the favor narrative if you're not going to deliver.
If I'm just spitballing, I mean, in my opinion, I think we're getting Roman Rollins at WrestleMania. Part of me feels like Roman might show up, right, singles by themselves. And granted, this is just out of left field, but part of me also could see Roman coming back at Chamber and costing Rollins. I feel like that's where that's heading, and maybe the favor is, hey, if I main event WrestleMania, Paul Heyman, you're not going with Roman, you're going with me in a match with Cody. I don't know. We're all speculating, but we'll see.
Dude, I have an idea based on the Bill Moss comment there for the inaugural part-timer championship. What about a WWE Legends title? Like you've just
Hogan.
I'm the Legends champion. I wrestle once every 3 years, 2 years. But you get 2 matches out of a guy in 2 consecutive years against 2 different opponents. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. This would go into Aaron's narrative. The favor is going to be the Roman to get rid of Rollins for Punk, and then it just becomes a singles match.
Yeah.
Okay. TNA did it? I did not know that, Bill. TNA had a Legends title, apparently. Interesting.
That's kind of cool.
You know what, Ryan? We'll save that question because we're about to get right into the men's Royal Rumble. It is Yeet-a-mania because main event Jey Uso shocked the world. 66-1 odds to win the Royal Rumble. Finally, the WWE gives us an unpredictable winner. Somebody that is made by winning the Royal Rumble the way it's supposed to be, right, guys? That's what the Royal Rumble's supposed to do. But God forbid, the predictable John Cena win didn't happen. CM Punk didn't happen. The guys that are 45 plus, that are already made mega superstars, didn't win the Royal Rumble. Let me go cry on the internet because Jey Uso, who does 5 moves, like a lot of the greats have done, Hulk Hogan, John Cena, Randy Orton. It's not about the moveset. It's about the fucking crowd reaction. It's about being a part of something. Yes, thank you. Tuck, please talk about the men's Royal Rumble. I need to take a break.
I think Jey Uso is a reflection of society and what we want, dude. He's a feel-good champion that you can root for in times where when you watch, when you're watching wrestling, that is your escape. That is the thing that you enjoy to get away. And he's a reflection of every time can be a good time. And so he's someone that you root for. And Monday Night Raw, his reception. Thank God they don't have a hard out. You know what I mean? It went long because it was valid and authentic in Cleveland. What an electric atmosphere. Thrilled. Had him at 20. I had him, and then I had 26. And so my picks weren't very confident. I'm like, these guys haven't even come out yet.
Who was 26? Was it Dom Mysterio?
Yeah.
I think,
yeah,
which was a good little, we will get to that moment that happened in that Royal Rumble. I want to specifically talk about Jey Uso, but did you have anything else about Jey Uso's win?
No, dude, it's fun.
Awesome.
Dude, like I want to see another Royal Rumble. I can't wait for next year's already because now they have laid. Maybe next year is very predictable and straightforward the way we thought this one is.
And then the women's isn't.
But there is a recipe that I feel in this one they are awarding the fandom.
Yeah, Aaron, I think that's well said. And before you go, Aaron, I did say last week, one of these Rumbles is probably going to give you the predictable winner, which the predictables were Charlotte and John Cena. You could argue maybe CM Punk on the other side of things, but I am so happy that they went with this decision because, like Brett said, there was genuine shock in the Loud House, but then that turned to just everybody eating and celebrating because we all want to be a part of something special. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, when you take time to reflect and really think about it, it made all the sense in the world. I mean, he's got the Daniel Bryan reaction during the Yes movement. He's getting the Kofi momentum that Kofi got when he went to WrestleMania and faced Daniel Bryan. The thing is he needed this. When you got a guy who's absolutely on fire, the crowd goes nuts every time that he comes out. Now he needs the backing. He needs the booking backing to get to the end. He's going to get a huge pop when he beats Gunther at WrestleMania, which is what I'm assuming we all think.
Yes. You think he's facing Gunther? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's for sure happening. He's going to get the reaction that the Daniel Bryans and the Kofi's got at WrestleMania. Again, it's cinema. It's what we talked about. Is it the greatest match in the world? I don't know. Maybe not booking wise in terms of those two, but now he's got the backing. He's the most over guy right now. This is how you create stars, and Kyle and I talked about this. This is how you make stars. Guys like John Cena, guys like Roman Reigns, guys like Seth Rollins, they're not going to be around forever. And I know Jey Uso's been in the game a long time, but this is where you make a star. And they made a star on Saturday night, and he is going to have the biggest backing behind him. The reaction at WrestleMania is going to be awesome. It made all the sense in the world when you really take back and look at it. So I'm for it.
And look at what it came down to, guys. It was Jey Uso and John Cena. John fucking Cena. He eliminated the GOAT to win the Royal Rumble. And Tuck, we talked about it. It was the most stacked Royal Rumble on paper going into it. And the winner of it was a guy that was notoriously known for being a tag team wrestler his entire career. Mm-hmm. And that's why wrestling's beautiful, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. The nostalgia. Yeah. Oof, when those four.
Dude, he's homies with Cody. It's Gunther straight away. Let him cook. I mean, you say what you want about Gunther. Like, he is a heel, so you're not supposed to like him, but yeah, he's great too. And Gunther's road is much longer than Jey Uso's in regards to timeline too. And so fans are going to be I can't wait. It's going to be fun.
I got a question, because this is one gripe I saw more than once online. And it's, okay, you're going with a guy that's on fire, great crowd reaction, finally put got stuff behind him to get in that main title picture. Well, a lot of people were saying, well, why doesn't LA Knight get the same treatment when he was on fire? Granted, he won the U.S. title, but a lot of people think there's more there for him. Well, and it could have just been a decision to where it's like, you know what, we're going a different direction. But I saw some people were like, well, if that's the way people are going, or Triple H is going to book guys that are so over like that and give them that opportunity, then why does a guy like LA Knight, who I wouldn't say it was the same reaction, but he was on fire and didn't really.
He still is. Yeah,
true. And hasn't necessarily gotten the same backing. I mean, again, there's a lot of mouths to feed, so it is what it is. But
I do have an answer for you. I just think it's because Jey Uso actually started to establish himself in the pandemic era.
Yeah.
Like 2020, the beginning of the Bloodline story was really focused around Jey Uso becoming a single star. And we now, 5 years later, get the payoff. And that's long-term storytelling right there. LA Knight doesn't have that rooted into the story.
A lot of guys elevated themselves during the pandemic. Drew McIntyre being another big one.
So that's a good question. Let's go back up there because Ryan did ask it earlier. Tuck, I'll go to you first, because Drew McIntyre really did not have a great showing in this Royal Rumble. Apparently, he was accidentally eliminated by Damian Priest. I don't know if you guys saw that, but
I did.
What are your thoughts, Tuck, on where Drew goes from here?
Well, the drama is not that Damian, from what I've heard, not that Damian eliminated him. That was a spot. He was furious backstage about guys getting their moves in. And so LA Knight and Logan Paul were engaged in a spot during an elimination. There was a bump, there was a run, and so he was frustrated with that, in that they didn't get their spot. And Maven interviewed and said, like, in building the Royal Rumble, it is the eliminations take center stage. So I think, and it sounds like there was no heat on Logan Paul, so it could be an LA Knight thing of it all. Maybe Drew and Damian. Drew LA Knight.
Drew LA Knight,
it would feel pretty real, probably, because he could say, but I don't think you can really say that on, you stole my spot.
You could say you ruined my Royal Rumble win.
Yeah, you can say something like that, but like, you ruined me getting eliminated. Right. By Damian Priest. I don't know. That's weird.
It's a tough question by Ryan, though. Appreciate you asking that for us. But
Brett
said, my only gripe is that he's been losing the big matches prior to the Rumble win, which is the overcoming the odds angle at WrestleMania. Brett says he trusts creative, but doesn't want to see a crash and burn like D. Bryan. I think he's got to win. Like, if he loses, you ruin him.
Yeah, he has to.
Ruin.
Yeah, he has to win, and then I think on the McIntyre spot, I think they've kind of run the course now. Well, maybe not with the whole him having the vendetta against the Bloodline. I'm guessing, and this is just a total guess, seeing as Priest kind of eliminated him, that they might go that route. Two big guys he'll face, might go that singles match at WrestleMania. But it sucks because I love Drew McIntyre, and I love when he was heavily involved in this stuff. I just think, again, he unfortunately might be lost in the shuffle a little bit, because with Punk,
a lot of mouths to feed.
It is, and you got Punk and you got Cena now with his last run. It's hard, but I love Drew. I hope they keep him relevant, because I think, like we talked about earlier, I think he reinvented himself, not just coming back to WWE, but during that pandemic period when he won the championship. He's awesome. I love Drew. I hope they figure it out with him.
Yeah, I do too, because his heel work is phenomenal, like you were saying. I do want to send my condolences out to iShowSpeed for getting speared out of his shoes.
Apparently, brave.
Dude, he hurt his neck. So here's the thing. I don't know who iShowSpeed is, so that just shows you how old I am now.
I am not familiar. I teach high school. I thought I would know. I am unkept.
Right. And so I look over at Brett. I go, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, seriously, we were hoping, like, maybe The Rock would do the 31 entrance because Tozawa didn't make the ring or something like that. And I look at him like, this is stupid. And then I saw Braun Breaker hit that spear. And then I saw Tuck that it got over 45 million views. What? I think that was the right call.
Yeah.
I just thought that was a cool moment. But speaking of moments, how about that when we got CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, John Cena in consecutive Rumble entrances? They usually will space them out a little bit, Aaron, but you talk about Royal Rumble moments. I think this just shows you the old era, kind of, but also it's still the current era,
Yeah, the nostalgia there was awesome. It's kind of like a nostalgia highlight how WrestleMania was when all those guys came. It was epic. I mean, we started watching really again when the Punk Cena feud was going on, one of the greatest feuds in my opinion ever. I really do hope they get a singles match before Cena dips out.
Do that Money in the Bank. That's my prediction.
Oh, yeah. Then there's the nostalgia all right there. But no, it was awesome. I mean, there's just so much boiled in with Punk and Cena and Roman and Rollins, all that history. It just all coming into one in the Royal Rumble was awesome. I mean, it was just one of the all-time nostalgia moments. It delivered everything right there. It was a goosebumps type of thing. It was sick.
It was sick, and I'm loving all these comments that we're getting. The 4-way face-off had me popping like Theory's entrance. Bill Moss had no idea who iShowSpeed was, but honestly, Tuck, it was one of the biggest pops of the night when Speed hit the ring.
Funny, dude. Just the perfect little pop thing. It was again the variety show element of the Royal Rumble, done like in and out, effective. Over 300 million engagements within 24 hours. Over 49 million engagements in the first 12 hours, breaking WWE view records. Incredible. Speared to the grave.
These streamers are like A-list celebrities now. Like they're that popular.
Yep.
Yeah, but let's talk about a couple of the surprises. There really wasn't many because it was a stacked Royal Rumble. But say his name and he appears. You talk about Pops. Joe Hendry was not only in the Royal Rumble, he was eliminated by Roman Reigns. And Tuck, I don't know if you've seen the internet, but a lot of people were mad Joe Hendry didn't get a good showing. He got eliminated by Roman fucking Reigns.
Dude, he's so over with the Sheamus pop of it all. It doesn't even matter, dude. It was effective. They got the song. They got the pop. That was a critique between the Rumbles is some of the music, unidentifiable, Def Rebel under a microscope right now. You know,
everybody was bitching about Finn's entrance. Like, why is nobody reacting? We don't know what that music is.
Yeah. And so made sense. And he got the belt on TV, established the crossover. You know, it did its job. And the Sheamus rub of it all, hence, has been great.
Aaron, do you believe?
I don't know. I know who he is. Well, I know who he is. I know you were him for Halloween.
I don't know.
I know he's got a big. I know he has a big following. I know
TNA
it was
champion.
Beat Nick Nemeth.
That's about all I know too, and I do believe.
Hey, he had a good run in NXT. I'm a little bit more familiar. I do get what Tip's saying. Him working with Cena in the Rumble would have been nice. Hendry's trying to manifest that. Having a moment with John Cena this year, which I think could happen. But the phenomenal AJ Styles, his OG music hit. Aaron, AJ Styles is one of the best wrestlers, in-ring wrestlers of all time, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
We kind of speculated the fact that he would be coming back here, but it was nice to see that the crowd gave him that good reaction. Like, he is.
AJ Styles is awesome. I mean, when he came over, 2016 Rumble, obviously won the belt, had his feuds with Cena. AJ Styles is one of the best. Now, obviously, he's at the end of his career. I bet he's just back to put people over, which is obviously a part of the business. We saw kind of on Raw how he's brought up with Braun Breaker. That could be an IC title match that we could see. But AJ Styles is one of the best. Always delivers. Any match that he's in, is going to deliver. So it's good to see him back because he's one of the best in the business at mid-40s, whatever how old he is.
Mid-40s.
So it's always good to see a talent like that back because he's awesome.
They really do got that perfect balance right now. Like, don't get me wrong, most of their major superstars are in their 40s or in their upper 30s, but you still got the Carmelo Hayes, you got the Braun Breaker, you got the Oba Femis, you got the Ludwig Kaisers, you got the Gunthers. You got so much young talent there, and that's why I think it's all working right now for the WWE. So as a whole, the whole entire pay-per-view itself, PLE, Tuck, what would you give the Royal Rumble?
95 out of 100, 9.5 out of 10, however you slice it. I thought it was really good. Very enjoyable Rumble. Didn't overstay its welcome. Two really compelling Rumble matches, and the two middle matches were great as well. I thought it really delivered.
Aaron, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with Tuck, and there are a couple people that I follow that I kind of respect their opinion in wrestling, and they were saying it was one of the best ever, if not maybe the second best ever Royal Rumble. It just delivered. I mean, the booking decisions all made sense, and this is just my opinion. Made total sense. I thought all the matches delivered. I don't think you could have really asked for anything else other than, I don't know, a crazy return that would have just taken it over the top, but I don't think they needed it. So, 95, 96. I mean, it was a phenomenal Royal Rumble. I have no complaints.
And Penta.
Yeah, Penta and Ray started the Rumble. That could be a match.
That was cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
There's just so much that happened on this show. That timer up there, we don't have enough time to cover everything that happened. Because I still want to touch on a little bit what did happen on Monday Night Raw. So we're gonna go rapid fire here. Let's start with that opening promo that Aaron brought up earlier in the show. Getting to see that raw emotion out of Jey Uso there to start Monday Night Raw, Tuck. I think that justified the booking decision right there and then.
Absolutely. It was fun to watch at home. How celebrated he was.
Aaron, what do you think about that promo that he got there?
In simple words, I think that basically tells you why he won. That's all you need to know.
100%. Like, that's what gets fans attracted to wrestlers is them just showing raw emotion. They just let Jey Uso go out there. Jey Uso didn't have a script. He was just free balling that. He was yeeting, and he got the applause that he deserved. So it was a great start. We also find out Liv Morgan has qualified for the Chamber. She has defeated Io Sky. Now, they have now intentionally teased Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley multiple times on Monday Night Raw, Aaron. She's not qualifying for this Chamber quite yet, but something tells me she might be a last chance winner, gets in the Chamber and faces Rhea. What are your thoughts on the women's title?
Yeah, I was curious because I didn't know what direction they would go with Rhea's title. So hearing from you guys through text and through social media that it sounds like that her and Io is the rumored match at Wrestle. So I would assume if you think that's what's going to happen, then more than likely I guarantee you she'll get like a last chance qualifying match and get in. If that's the match that you guys think is going to happen, then it probably will. I got in a fantasy booking and said, well, if Becky comes back, they do the man versus mommy. That'd be kind of interesting. But I don't think she's coming back. I don't think she's coming back. Not ever, but not. I think she's sitting out there at WrestleMania. So, but I'm sure it'd be a great match between those two.
Great Brown Hope, I don't forget that. He's never forget when Shayna mollywopped Liv in the Chamber. And then Bill said that Chamber sucked. Tuck, do you think Io Sky will make her way back into that Chamber match, though?
Back in the mix somehow. You have the argument, and they do the last chance. I could see her winning the Elimination Chamber. I don't know that they want to pay it off in 3 weeks. So I think there's legs to it.
No, yeah, for sure. And like Kind said. Bill said the only time IWC is wrong 99% of the time, it's full of liars, haters, and fake fans who just want clicks and beef. Well, that number might not be true. I think a part of that sentence is true, and that's why we created the Main Event Wrestling Network. That's why we have this OTM community, because we want to look and talk about wrestling in a positive light, because we're all just enjoying it. We're all fans, and we're having a good time talking about it. So as long as you stay here in the OTM community, I think you're going to be okay. Just stay away from a lot of the IWC virgins. But the last thing, main event, I love this match. CM Punk defeated Sami Zayn. He's now going to be joining John Cena in the Elimination Chamber. Tuck, I know Aaron kind of talked about it a little bit already, but it seems like Punk and Cena, it's probably going to come down to those two for that men's chamber, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, and there's still many great candidates out there. Could be one of the most stacked Elimination Chambers of all time.
You guys got any names you would like to see in there to join them? Braun Breaker, maybe?
Roman? Dude, Seth? There's so many.
Seth's got his He'll be in. He's got his qualifying match against Finn. Yeah, he'll win. I'm trying to think who else they might throw in there.
Well, we know Sammy and KO won't be in there.
No. Man, I don't think they would do Braun. I think he might.
Penta's a good shout.
That's a good one.
Ilya Dragunov, if he's ready to return, sure, but I don't think he's ready yet. Those could be.
Honestly, call me crazy. A guy I also wouldn't mind seeing there is Chad Gable.
Ooh, Rey Mysterio versus Logan Paul.
I forgot.
Logan Paul will be in there.
Yeah, he will. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, and like Kind said, man, could you imagine if Punk and Cena are the last two? that would hit.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Jay should win the chamber and challenge for both titles. Jeez, you're really going to get the fans mad on that one, Great Brown.
I think that's what's going to happen. Punk Cena, Punk pins him.
And then we're going to get KO and Sammy at WrestleMania.
I think Roman shows up at the chamber and costs Rollins. I'm calling my shot now.
That's fair. I think it could definitely happen. But, yeah, guys, it was a hell of a weekend. Like I said earlier, if you haven't got the opportunity to check out our Royal Rumble vlog in Indianapolis, I got to hang out with the Wrestling Junkies podcast. I got to hang out with Ian Garavalia, our co-host. And I also got to meet up with a couple other people, like the guys from Between Two Beards, who are great guys and worth the follow for sure. So shout out to everybody that I ran into in Indianapolis. That was a phenomenal weekend there. But now we have to decide, guys, who the MVM of OTM is. And listen, this was probably the hardest decision, Tuck, I think I've had to make in a while. They were popping large in the chat.
Absolutely an incredible effort by the chat. Top to bottom, bell to bell, some would say. We have an ironclad Iron Man community in the OTM chat room, and tonight it was electric.
Yeah, and Great Brown Hope, to answer your question, yes, I believe Logan does have a win over Ray. And Dirk Vogus' dad, big fan of Aaron. Come back again sometime, Aaron. We gonna get you
Aaron's
back
over.
on soon? Mania?
Hey, I'm ready to go. Again, and what I was alluding to with the booking decisions, I think this Elimination Chamber is probably the most anticipated that I can remember. So
You wanna come back for the Elimination Chamber then?
I'm calling my shot now. I'm telling you if
He wants it on the record.
I want it on the record that John Cena's not winning the Elimination Chamber. They could go. And I don't think Rollins is either. So I think that leaves Punk. But I'm telling you, this slow burn of Cena. We'll find out. But I think we got a slow burn coming.
We got to find out who is walking away with the MVM. Like I said, very tough decision. But since it was so difficult, I think it's safe to say we have and still MVM of the On the Mark Wrestling podcast, Hot Sauce, Bill Moss. It was cutthroat, Tuck. It was tough.
Well, again, champion's advantage, right? In a slobber knocker of a bout, we had a fun chat room today. Bill Moss retains 3 weeks in a row. Very strong run early in the year towards MVM of the year. Incredible effort.
Incredible indeed. And yeah, just shout out to everybody else that decided to stop by too, because like I said, if I can give everybody the MVM, I would, because this was a very interactive show.
It's a title. It's a title.
More fun.
It's a singles championship. You know what I mean?
You're right. But Aaron, I'm going to let you go. We're going to stay live because we're going to do the drawing. Any final remarks, though, before we kick you out of here?
I saw Brett had a comment about me calling another shot, so I guess I'll go out on one more. Ryback Elimination Chamber, Shell Shock to Cena and Punk. Pins and bowl main events.
Okay, we're getting him out of here.
That's it, and that'll do it for you. The OTM glue guy, ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Orosz.
Give him a hand, everybody. If you want to give him a follow on social media, he's not worth the follow, if we're being honest. He doesn't tweet, but he is a good guy. He's a glue guy, and we're glad we have him. So that's the end of the actual podcast. Tuck, I think it's time to give away a figure. What do you think?
Let's do it.
Let me get this set up so I can present the other thing. So why don't you talk about the comments while I do that?
Oh, man. So many comments over here.
I think we're good. Don't worry. Is it showing?
Okay, and we're back. Here it is. Wow, look at that wheel.
Okay, people. So you don't see 400 names here because I was only able to see the YouTube accounts that were made public. But I made sure to get the big names that bought merch extra entries. You're going to see multiple names for Bill Moss, the Great Brown Hope. Other people in there have multiple entries because they earned them. I kept note of them, Tuck. But we only have 124 names in here. And like we stated earlier, we're not going to ship to anywhere outside of the States, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so if we, land on somebody outside of the States, are you okay with letting them pick somebody in the States?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So tell me how many times we're going to hit this shuffle button, and then I will spin the wheel.
It is you're going to hit it 6 times. It is the 6th of February.
Okay. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tuck, can I get a drum roll, please?
Hey.
The winner of our 400
there's a little bit of a lag.
Subscriber giveaway is, oh my God, it's Love My Family 4, ladies and gentlemen. It was so close to landing on Bill Moss in the Great Round Hope, but it lands on Love My Family 4. So Tuck, I'm assuming this person doesn't watch our show. So should we give them the weekend to respond and claim their prize?
Yeah, then we got to run it back, right? Or I don't, I
Should we
think
just do
that's
it
what
again?
No, we don't.
Okay.
What if this person does watch? What if they,
That's fair.
So
if
we
your
got to
YouTube
give it an effort.
Yeah. We'll give you till Monday. And if Love My Family 4 doesn't get back to us by Monday, we'll just keep redrawing every single week on OTM. Brett Haskell says you spin now to see who the runner-up would be. Do you want to see who the runner-up would be?
Well, that would give us a clear winner if they don't respond by a certain time on Monday.
Okay. I like that idea.
We're
How does
here.
that sound, guys?
We don't have to build it again.
Okay. Yeah. That's how we'll do it.
That's great.
We'll make a list.
Far more efficient. Shout out Brett Haskell. A good one.
Yeah. Let's do it again. How many times should I shuffle, Tucky?
7 times. There are 27 people watching.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's spin it again, just in case I Love My Family 4 doesn't respond. The backup is going to be. The suspense is killing me. Abraham.
There we go.
Esprilla?
Yeah, that's what it looks
Is that how you
like.
pronounce it? The Sprilla? And
Yep.
I feel like we should maybe do a third just in case.
Yeah.
All right, third and final, and then I'm deleting the wheel.
And
So-
by, I mean, yeah, I guess, well, we might have to resolve this next week, but.
I'm going to end up deleting the wheel probably, or maybe I should keep the tab, but let's remove them. I'm going to shuffle 2 times, and we're going to spin it one last time, just in case.
You can copy and paste that list to a doc.
Oh, that's true. Oh, okay. Ladies and gentlemen,
All
this
right.
one I know. Yeah, this one we know can be given away. So if the first 2 people don't respond by the weekend, Main Event Network's own Jay Gold is going to win the figure.
Well, we got to set a time. So Sunday at midnight, Monday at 8 a.m. Because if both the first 2 were to respond, Love My Family 4 and Abraham Lasprilla, if they were to respond, if Abraham responds first, but Love My Family 4 does not respond or responds after, but before the deadline, you have an order.
We'll talk it out, guys, and we'll make sure you guys know on social media. But congrats to I Love My Family 4, for now, is the winner of the signed Rey Mysterio figure giveaway. Don't forget, you can stop the count. I just saw that. You can support the podcast by heading on over to the onthemarkwrestlingpodcast.com, and you can purchase some merch. It's still a little chilly out, so I recommend looking at our hoodies. They are very comfortable, as you've seen me wearing mine. Also, new main event mixer coming your way next Saturday, 1 hour or maybe 2 hours before NXT Vengeance Day. The Great Round Hope will be on that show, and as will Jay Gold, who is in 3rd place right now for the Rey Mysterio figure. Tucky, that's all I got for him. Why don't you send us home?
Hey,
I forgot to show this graphic. Thank you for 400, by the way.
Yeah, and thank you all. Jay Gold, it sounds like you're probably getting a figure, fella. I don't know. But the Royal Rumble was a great show. High anticipation for the Elimination Chamber, and then like 6 weeks, and so we've got some time to let it cook and build into some compelling feuds. Interesting to see what they do with the longer window, given it's about 2 weeks later. And so there's more time to fill, but excited for the Elimination Chamber. Excited to be back here next week. Same time, same place, 5:30 Pacific, 7:30 Central. Yeah. And then the week after, I think I could do 5 again.
Okay. That's good.
So
I like having my extra half hour,
Hey, you're in the gym, you're working out. It is fitness season. Every season is fitness season.
And by the way,
As
I took
you will.
your advice and I copied the list into a Google Doc, so we are covered there if we need to be.
Yeah, we're good. We got a backup. We got a 1, 2, 3. We got a backup. We got a gold, silver, bronze, and copper.
Yeet. Send us home.
Ladies and gentlemen, until next week, thank you for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.